The elite don't fail because they follow better strategies. They succeed because they know rules that nobody teaches you. These aren't the written rules you learn in school or find in textbooks. These are the invisible rules of power, the ones passed down through families, taught in exclusive circles, and normalized so completely that most people don't even realize they exist. Understanding these rules is the first step toward breaking the cycle that keeps ordinary people from ever truly getting ahead. There is an invisible empire built on networks, cultural codes, and institutional connections that most people are completely unaware of. When you understand how power actually works, you realize that the game isn't played on a level field. The elite have a rulebook that remains hidden from everyone else, and that rulebook determines who rises and who falls. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's documented through decades of academic research on power structures, elite networks, and how wealth reproduces itself across generations. Power comes from positions, not merit. The first hidden rule of power is this: your position matters infinitely more than what you actually know or how hard you work. Sociologist C. Wright Mills studied power in America and identified something crucial. Power is concentrated in three interlocking hierarchies: corporate leaders, military officials, and political leaders. These aren't three separate groups competing against each other. They're interconnected through overlapping networks, shared backgrounds, and a common worldview. They move between positions. A corporate executive becomes a government official. A military general sits on corporate boards. A politician takes a job at a think tank. The specific institution matters less than the fact that someone occupies a command post, a position at the top of a major institution. This is why who you know often matters more than what you know. Someone in an elite position doesn't need to be the smartest person in the room. They need access to information, influence, and decision-making power. The position itself grants authority over vast resources and institutions that affect everyone's lives. A CEO of a major bank influences inflation rates and employment. The head of a defense contractor shapes military strategy. The director of a major media company determines which stories get told and which perspectives reach the public. The position creates power, and the network of positions creates the power elite. Cultural capital is everything. The second hidden rule is that cultural capital, the right accent, knowledge of the right culture, familiarity with the right people, often determines success more than actual ability. Elite families don't just pass down money. They pass down cultural knowledge that's almost invisible. Their children learn to speak in modulated tones. They learn which topics are appropriate for conversation. They develop comfort in formal settings. They understand unstated rules about how to dress, how to behave, and how to interact with people of influence. Elite schools like Eton, Andover, or Swiss boarding schools teach far more than academics. They teach cultural refinement. They teach how to move through elite spaces without drawing attention. They teach that true wealth never announces itself ostentatiously. The children of the wealthy learn to be discreet about money, to appreciate fine arts not because they've been forced to, but because it's normal in their world. They understand that having money is different from displaying money, and that quiet confidence signals power far more effectively than flashy consumption. Meanwhile, children from working-class backgrounds arrive at prestigious universities and feel like imposters. They're asked to repeat words to match accents. They notice classmates casually discussing literature and philosophy they've never encountered. They sense unspoken rules about proper behavior that nobody bothers to teach them directly. Pierre Bourdieu called this mechanism social reproduction. The education system, which presents itself as neutral and meritocratic, actually rewards those who already possess the right cultural capital. Teachers recognize children with the right accent, manners, and cultural references as promising. Those without these markers are often judged as less intelligent, when in reality they simply weren't born into the right cultural circles. The devastating part is that cultural capital is nearly impossible to acquire as an adult. You can read books about high culture, but you won't have the embodied confidence that comes from being raised in elite circles. You can learn proper etiquette, but you'll never have the natural ease that comes from a lifetime of moving through elite spaces. This invisible disadvantage persists across entire careers. Networks are assets you cultivate strategically. The third hidden rule is that your network isn't just a collection of friends. It's a strategic asset that compounds over time. Elite families understand this completely. They maintain memberships in private clubs that require sponsorship and decade-long waiting lists. They place children in schools specifically chosen for the networks those schools provide, not primarily for academic quality. They facilitate marriages between families of comparable status, ensuring that wealth and networks merge across generations. This is often called interlocking directorates, when corporate executives sit on each other's boards, creating a dense web of interconnection. These networks serve multiple purposes simultaneously. They allow rapid diffusion of information. A new corporate strategy adopted by one firm spreads quickly to others through these network ties. They create consensus among the elite about what's acceptable and what's not. They facilitate political unity. Executives connected through these networks contribute to political campaigns and causes that align with their class interests, not necessarily their individual interests. They diffuse best practices and warnings. If one firm learns about a hostile takeover threat or a legal risk, the information spreads through the network almost immediately, giving connected firms advantages that isolated firms never receive. Critically, these networks remain mostly closed to outsiders. They're maintained through shared membership in country clubs, corporate boards, charitable foundations, and think tanks. Entry typically requires sponsorship from someone already inside the circle. The children of elite families inherit access to these networks simply by being born. They attend boarding school with other elite children. They go to Harvard or Yale with the same peer group. They join the same clubs. They serve on boards together. Without consciously scheming or meeting in secret rooms, these networks coordinate to maintain the existing power structure. Narratives shape what seems normal. The fourth hidden rule is that the elite shape the narratives about how the world works. They don't typically resort to censorship or propaganda in the traditional sense. Instead, they control the institutions that produce culture and shape ideas. The wealthiest people own major newspapers and media platforms. The most prestigious universities are funded by wealthy families. The think tanks that shape policy are financed by corporate donors. The cultural narrative that emerges doesn't need to be explicitly coordinated. The system is designed so that elite perspectives naturally rise to prominence. When elite values become normalized through education, media, and culture, they begin to feel universal rather than particular. The idea that wealthy people deserve their wealth because of talent or hard work becomes common sense. The idea that taxes on corporations reduce jobs and harm ordinary people becomes conventional wisdom. The idea that helping poor people makes them lazy becomes accepted truth. These aren't conspiracy theories whispered in closed rooms. They're the dominant narratives repeated constantly through legitimate institutions. They feel true because everyone says them, and every major institution reinforces them. Antonio Gramsci called this cultural hegemony, the process by which one group's worldview comes to feel not like an ideology, but like simple reality. The power of this system is that it doesn't require force. It requires only that the dominant group's values and interests become embedded in schools, media, universities, and cultural institutions. Once they're normalized there, people accept them without question. The system reproduces itself invisibly. The fifth and final hidden rule is that elite power reproduces itself almost invisibly, without requiring any conscious effort from those involved. Most elite individuals aren't part of some coordinated conspiracy. They're simply living out the world they were born into, passing down to their children what they inherited. A wealthy family doesn't need to secretly plan anything. They legally pay for their children's elite education. They legally provide access to their networks. They legally inherit wealth to their children. They legally sit on corporate boards with friends. All of these are normal, legal activities, yet collectively, they create a system where power and privilege concentrate and remain concentrated across generations. The invisibility is the genius of the system. Those born into power don't see themselves as benefiting from a rigged system. They see themselves as talented, hardworking people in a meritocracy. Those born outside power often internalize the values of the system and blame themselves for not succeeding. If you weren't born with cultural capital, weren't educated in elite schools, don't have access to the right networks, and don't have people protecting your interests, the system tells you it's because you didn't work hard enough. Understanding the game, the hidden rules of power operate silently and comprehensively. Power derives from positions in major institutions, not from raw intelligence. Cultural capital, refined manners, the right accent, knowledge of elite culture opens doors that merit alone cannot. Strategic networks compound over time and provide advantages that isolated individuals never receive. Narratives shape what seems normal and possible, and the entire system reproduces itself without anyone needing to consciously maintain it. Once you understand these rules, you can begin to recognize them operating everywhere. You see how elite children move effortlessly into positions of power, while equally talented people from ordinary backgrounds struggle. You see how certain narratives dominate public discourse, while others are marginalized. You see how networks of the wealthy coordinate their interests without ever needing explicit coordination. The system works silently, but it works perfectly.